Hello, Queen. Allow me to honor you for showing up here for yourself. And when I say here, I mean exactly where you are. Teaching and facilitating womb wisdom is allowing women like you to find ways to access what you already know. Whatever it is that called you to wanting to take this video and explore this practice with me is that innate wisdom calling and longing to be heard. So wherever you are in your journey, today I will offer you a meditation that will help generate more energy in the womb so that you can begin to feel and listen to this part of our bodies. I truly believe that if we want to open up a dialogue with any particular person or parts of ourselves, that it's important to drop in to where and what it is this part of ourselves is saying. So this is exactly what we'll start with today in this meditation. So make sure you're comfortable. Feel free to use a blanket, a prop. If you need to have your sit bones up, then grab what you need and meet me back here. To get started, we are going to align the three major bone cavities in our body: our pelvis, our ribs, and our skull. The womb, the heart, and the mind. So imagining your pelvis as a bowl, we want that bowl to be seated right on top of the earth in a way that isn't tilting forward or tilting back. Your perineum, which is the area in between your vagina and your anus, is going to be connected straight down towards the floor. I like to even imagine like a little screwdriver of energy coming down and into the floor to really anchor the pelvis bowl down towards the floor. From there, the rib cage is directly on top of that bowl, and the head and the skull is directly on top of the rib cage. You may notice you might need to drop your chin more, bring it back. We tend to lean forward in life, or slouch and lean back. So we really basically want to get in alignment in our spine. If we were one of those dolls that fit into each other, our head would fit right into our rib cage would fit right into the pelvis. Nice and erect, we're going to start this meditation by imagining a tube of energy, or I should just say a tube, which we'll fill with energy, running along from the crown chakra like a pole down the center of our body, helping make sure that we keep our spine erect and our seated position nice and long. Feel into this position and this pose for a minute and relax any muscles or any part of the body that is not needed to keep this erect position. So the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the fingers, the knuckles, the knees, all relaxing. From the top of the head, where this tube begins, we're going to start to slurp in a liquid gold energy down the body, down the throat, down the heart, down the solar plexus, down the belly, and all the way out and through our perineum. Keeping your breath natural and relaxed, maybe slowing it down from your regular daytime pace. Continue to breathe and bring this energy from the sky energy, from the sky domain, from the crown, from the insight, from the realm of openness down through the body and into that pelvis bowl, down through the perineum, into the earth and the floor around you. Begin to imagine that you're sitting in like a little kid's pool, and the more that the energy is coming from up to down, that you're filling that pool and surrounding yourself with this viscous, fluid, melted golden energy. The heaviness of that golden liquid energy is helping ground the pelvis and the pelvic floor to the earth. The crown chakra is thirsty, reaching up like a balloon, like a helium balloon. However, as you keep pouring this golden energy, the pelvic bowl is getting heavier and heavier, sinking and grounding into the earth and the floor below you. A couple more breaths just like this. And as the liquid gold energy comes down through each chakra and energy point along the spine, feel it soften that area. Specifically in our pelvis floor and the womb space, feel it soften the muscles in your vagina, in your yoni, in your glutes, in your anus, in the perineum, softening whatever tension, trauma, or concern is in that space, relaxing, softening, and melting down into that pool of liquid energy. Last breath, just like that. In our next inhale, we're going to expand downward and upward this time, focusing on our center and expanding up and down. Inhaling, expanding the belly. Exhaling now, using the breath to contract the belly, pulling into the space below your belly button, but above your pelvic bone. Right here, if you need to open your eyes, right where my hand is. Inhaling, expanding like an accordion, filling your body with space. Exhaling, contracting. You are welcome to breathe out through the mouth. Release anything stagnant, ucky, or anything that is standing in the way of allowing more space into the womb. 2 more breaths, just like that. Inhaling, expanding, filling up the bowl now like you have a balloon growing in your lower belly, and letting the balloon now release the energy through the mouth, contracting. As you inhale and expand, allow the perineum muscles, the Kegel muscles, to open up, relax, almost like you're trying to push your perineum towards the floor. And then as you exhale, pull up and into the lower belly. Imagine an elevator that you're going up one floor, then the other floor, all the way up. Kegel muscles tight in, exhaling, and last time, inhaling, expanding, exhaling, contracting, pulling in energy to the lower belly. Keep the head lifted if you can. Holding. We're going to do 2 more breaths, but now we're going to focus on the front and the back as well. So we're going to puff the belly out, puff the lower back out. We're now expanding front and back and side to side. Inhaling just like that, exhaling, everything compresses into the lower belly. Imagine you're compressing clay or you're compressing a jewel into the space, which is going to be our anchor for the rest of the practices I offer. One more breath just like that for now. Exhaling, compressing. Feel that compressed energy for as long as you can on this one. You're welcome to open the eyes and you're welcome to soften the perineum here and see if you can keep that compacted and protected energy here in the womb space. And this might take some time, so please adapt this practice to the point where you don't need the video to do it. So we're holding that energy here in the lower belly, and that is going to be our anchor. From this anchor point right here, imagine that screwdriver I talked about screwing your perineum, your pelvic floor, soft space there. We're going to drop that so that we are rooted into the floor, and we'll start to do some small rib cage circles, trying to keep the pelvis bowl in the exact same spot. You're going to notice you have to really pull in and anchor there. Moving into some movements. Softening the shoulders. Moving from the internal around that center pole, that center tube, I should say, that comes from the top of the head, down. We're going to start to spiral a little bit bigger, and at this point you can let the whole spine go. So we're going to forget about the anchor. We're going to let the spine arch and curve. You're welcome to stop in any of these positions, stopping here with the heart open. I like to imagine that I have a book that I'm opening and showing forward, so I really feel my heart opening. And then let's go ahead and go to the side. I like to push against my knee to get a really good stretch that even comes into the hip. To the back, letting your chin drop, looking down at the pelvic bone, and over to the other side. Letting the head go along for the ride, opening the throat, and dropping, opening the back of the neck. Remember that the neck is a part of the spine. So if you're trying to watch the video and do this, I would just choose one or the other. Watch the video or do it, but try not to be watching me the whole time. We're going to take this and we're going to start to spiral it in again, coming back to the smaller circles, coming back smaller and smaller until you feel the anchored energy, that screwdriver back into the earth, and then keep going smaller until the movement is internal and only you are feeling that spiral. All the way back to a center point, spiraling in, aligning the spine, same thing, other direction. Starting with a nice small circle with the rib cage. This is a really great practice for now opening up the heart. Starting with the belly anchored. If you have your hands on your belly, you should feel a nice still position. As we get bigger, then that still position changes, allowing the whole spine to move, kind of like you're doing cat-cow in yoga. Letting the neck be a part of the movement without compressing the neck, so try not to let the head fall too far. I like to imagine a small string on the top of my head, kind of still attached to the sky, so it doesn't compress fully. Spiraling to as big as you can, or as you want to in this moment. And perhaps stopping, pressing into the knees, opening the heart, opening the throat, relaxing the jaw. Over to the side. I love this one. I really feel a nice stretch come into the hip. Back, looking down at the pelvis. Bone right here. I try to tilt the bone and the eyes to face each other, getting a full C curve in the spine, and other direction. Let's do a couple more big ones, and then we'll start to spiral in. Slowly coming into the center. Smaller and smaller until you feel the pelvic bowl that we filled up with that golden energy nice and steady. There's no fluid that's moving. It's all still. The only thing moving is the chest, the heart opening and dropping. Opening and dropping, smaller and smaller, until only you can feel that little tornado, that little spiraling energy inside, and stopping at a point where you're back to alignment. Ribs over pelvis, head over ribs. This alone could be your practice, but we will add a couple of arm and hand movements to bring the heart energy into the hands and end with some yummy self-love. So let's reach down into that golden energy that we poured around us, lifting up, letting the ribs lift, letting the solar plexus open, reaching to slurp in a little more of that imaginary golden energy into the crown, pouring that behind the head, down the neck and shoulders, into the lymphs and the sides of the breast and those tender areas, all the way down to the womb. Bringing the hands up into prayer, and let's build a little more heat and energy into the palm of the hands. The hands are an extension of the heart, and chakras on the hands are very useful for self-love and healing. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of that. Washing the face. Let's give ourselves a little face wash, and this time pouring up through the back of the head, once again down through the sides of the neck, down to the sides of the breast or anywhere that's tender, down to the belly, scooping up that energy one more time, at least for now, reaching, slurping that energy in through the hands, showering and pouring that down the face. Relax the jaw, relax the eyes, relax the brow, all the way down into the womb, into the lower belly, into the anchor point. You can place one palm over the other or go into our lower triangle mudra. Pour the energy from the heart down through the hands and into the belly, taking a moment for self-love and connection into our wise womb space. Thanking yourself. Telling your womb, perhaps, I trust you. Last breath. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. I look forward to hearing and feeling the ways in which this practice ripples out in your life and into the world. Please contact me with any questions, feedbacks, or insights that you receive. And I look forward to sharing more womb wisdom, belly dance practices with you. Have a beautiful day.